So a massive advantage for the Baltimore Ravens was just revealed by Warren Sharp of Sharp Analytics. Plus, the Baltimore Ravens are a little over 3 months away from the 2024 NFL season opener against the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're preparing for that with OTAs. We got Derrick Henry, Roquan Smith back in the building. Teams are participating in these 11-on-11 drills, so we get a taste of what some of these players are going to look like in this upcoming season. Plus, we got Zay Flowers continuing to put in the work for what seems to be a second-year monster breakout season for the wide receiver in Todd Monken's offense. We got all that and much more Baltimore Ravens news. So welcome into another episode of Ravens Reports, man. It's your guy Noah here with For the Flock, as always, bringing you guys our top 5 news reports and storylines coming out of our Baltimore Ravens today. I hope y'all are having a great day, man. I love you guys and appreciate you guys, everyone who helped us get to 40,000 subscribers. We're going to go ahead and set the target, set the goal, which is a moving target, a moving goalpost of 50,000 subscribers. So go ahead, make sure you got your subscribe and notification bell on so we can keep you up to date on everything Baltimore Ravens news, content related. And man, we got you covered here. So let's dive into the content. At number 1, let's talk about this massive advantage that the Baltimore Ravens have. This is a chart here from Warren Sharp of Sharp Analytics. He does some really good analytical work on the NFL. The Baltimore Ravens have the best rest advantage in the NFL. What does that mean? When you look at each game the Ravens play, you compare the Ravens' rest, how many days of rest they have, compared to the opposing team. An example is if you're coming off a bye week and another team just played on Sunday, you have 7 days of extra rest. It just compares the amount of days of rest that your team had compared to the opponent each week. The Ravens have the highest rest differential with a 16 net rest edge, which is well above the other teams in the league. Now, the downside of the Ravens schedule is that the Ravens have a NFL high 10 playoff teams they're playing. So 10 out of 17 games on the schedule, more than 50% of the teams they're going to play were high caliber playoff teams from last season. So while the Ravens have a hard schedule when it comes to strength of schedule, the Ravens also have the best rest differential to play some of these harder teams. They have 2 games with an extra 3 days of rest, a game with an extra 4 days of rest, a game with an extra 1, and only 2 games where they're actually negative in the rest differential. That means in a very short NFL season that's packed with 17 games, the Ravens will have some advantage. Every extra day counts. Players get nicked up, bruised up, they get sore. It limits practice time, recovery, all that stuff. The Ravens will have some advantage in that category despite having the NFL's hardest strength of schedule when it comes to the amount of playoff teams the Ravens have. At number 2, here's a guy that can definitely help our defense stay rested and on the sideline while our offense absolutely dominates time of possession. Derrick Henry, we got some clips here revealed from the Baltimore Ravens social media pages. One thing that has not been talked about very much is Derrick Henry as a pass catcher. He's been very underutilized, in my opinion, as a third down pass catching running back in his career. It's something that whenever he's had the opportunity, I thought he's looked great in. A lot of times when this guy's on the field, teams are gearing up for the run, which is going to help set up play action, right? The best years in Tennessee where the Titans made the playoffs with mediocre quarterback play with Ryan Tannehill, it was due to that hard play action game with Derrick Henry. Now, this is going to set up some easy completions for Derrick Henry to leak out in the backfield and get some nice checkdowns from Lamar Jackson. It's going to make his life easier. And I think just watching some of these clips, how he moves around and can catch the ball very naturally, I think Todd Monken, the way he utilized the running backs last year in a passing game, he's going to have some fun, some wrinkles up his sleeve for Derrick Henry in the passing game when you least expect it. And I think Derrick Henry could have his career high in receiving yards this year with the Baltimore Ravens. At number 3, I've been wanting to talk about this. Another graphic came out kind of confirming how drastically improved the Baltimore Ravens secondary has been. They added 3 defensive backs in this year's draft. Eric DaCosta talked about it on the Baltimore Ravens The Lounge podcast, and I just wanted to show you what he had to say on some of the new corners that we added. Reminder, right? The Ravens drafted Nate Wiggins in the first round, long, very athletic cover corner, considered one of the best in the draft, if not the best pure cover corner. We also grabbed TJ Tampa in the 4th round, who was projected to be a second or at the latest 3rd round pick, who fell in the 4th round because of a slower 40. And then the safety Kane out of Purdue.
Listen, Nate has good length. He can press. He can play from off. I see him as being able to play every coverage that we want, every technique that we want. He's going to get bigger and stronger. He's going to be a player for us that we can count on for a long time. With TJ, we know he's a faster player, and so from that standpoint, yeah, we didn't see a lot of risk with him. The way that he plays, his mentality, his coverability, his length. Unusual to have a corner with that type of arm length and just size. We think he's a prototypical press corner type of guy. Love his skill set, and as I said, player that we would have been very comfortable taking on the second day had we not already drafted a corner round in the 4th round. It would have been irresponsible for us not to take him when he was still there.
This secondary is really deep and really versatile. I believe that so many of these players can fill in for each other, right? If a guy goes down with injury, we have several other players that can fill the same position, right? So like an example, Brandon Stevens, who's an outside corner, can also play the nickel, the slot. He also was a safety for a couple years with the Ravens, going back and forth. Another example is Darius Washington was a safety coming out of college, but the Ravens converted him to pretty much a full-time nickel slot defender. Then we got Marlon Humphrey, who can play outside or inside. Probably his best year in 2019 as an All-Pro, played the inside. And both TJ Tampa and Nate Wiggins can play a lot of different coverages, and I think can both play inside or outside, just with a little bit more grooming. Kyle Hamilton, we know he's an absolute, Swiss Army knife, a weapon in the secondary. The 2023 All-Pro. The Ravens have so much talent back there in the secondary, and they're just really deep. They're really versatile, and I think Zach Orr is going to have a lot of pieces at his disposal to have a really potent defense, despite losing some guys along the front, with like Patrick Queen, starting linebacker, as well as Geno Stone, Jadeveon Clowney. The Ravens still have a lot of talent, especially in the secondary. And the other guy I'm really excited for is the linebacker, Trenton Simpson, who I think is going to fill in for Patrick Queen and make some big-time splash plays. At number 4, Zay Flowers, man. Like, this guy is a workaholic. Now, I know a lot of guys are probably putting in similar work, a lot of work, and sometimes, guys post on social media more. So we see the guys that are posting on social media or having other people post about them on social media with their workouts. But the work that Zay Flowers is putting in, and based off of his mentality and the history here with Zay, this guy he's a grinder. And Zay Flowers, I think he could have upwards of 90 receptions in his second year with the amount of target share, the volume he's going to get in this Todd Monken offense, where he was featured a lot as a rookie. He's going to take an even bigger step this upcoming year. And I'm so excited to see how the receivers complement each other, because, he's going to work the middle of the field, the short game, make guys miss. He's going to demand so much targets because of the addition of Derrick Henry, how much he's going to open up. And then, with the vertical aspect, the field stretching aspect that we just added in Tez Walker, he could complement Zay Flowers really nice. And I'm excited for Zay Flowers, man. I'm expecting a big-time Pro Bowl type of season for a homegrown drafted Ravens wide receiver, which is something we haven't seen. When's the last time we had a Pro Bowl wide receiver here in Baltimore? I don't even know. I know we had Duvernay recently as a, punt returner, kick returner, but I'm talking about a pure wide receiver offensive threat. At number 5, speaking of offensive threats, we know Kadre Ismail was a offensive threat, a weapon. Won a Super Bowl with the Baltimore Ravens. We actually had the pleasure of having him here on the channel for an interview but his son actually had a workout with the Baltimore Ravens and made the team. And he was added to the 90-man roster. He's going to have a shot at, making the roster, making the practice squad. He's going to have a crack at it with the other talented receivers that are on this team as well. There's going to be a battle for that 5, 6, 7 wide receiver spots from the roster. Guys like Tylan Wallace, Sean Ryan, some undrafted guys that the Ravens added, and some practice squad guys from last year that are all going to be fighting for that the back end of the wide receiver roster. So if you guys got any value out of today's content, don't forget to leave the video a like. It really helps out the channel. And as always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ray, when he wasn't looking, he ran me over.